All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, very, very good afternoon to you all. An exciting day, a wonderful day, perhaps not sunny, but certainly sunny in here as we present to you a wonderful property for your competitive interest. I'm Sabina Davison, the auctioneer, who's here to assist you across the line, and of course around the room, these smiling faces, the wonderful Bailey's team members who've been instrumental ahead of today's date in taking your inquiry, answering your questions, facilitating your inspections, and generally being very, very helpful indeed in your pursuit of the property at 41 Matariki Place in the Kerikeri Peninsula. Now, there's a few formalities I'm going to run through before we get underway with the auction proper. Some more introductions to make. Marlene and Amber at the back there, they're in charge of the technology. You'll see, of course, the bidding conditions on the screen right now. I'll run through the conduct of auction for you in a moment. In a little while, you'll see photographs of the property as I take you through that, and then also the bidding amount will appear on the screen. Welcome, of course, to our online viewers. All of our auctions are being live streamed, so hence the camera there. So welcome to all of you in terms of your participation here as well. As always with Bailey's Auctions, we sell in accordance with the Real Estate Institute's Best Practice Guide. That's on display here at the premises under the Real Estate Agents Act. We have to have given every buyer a booklet, the Buying and Selling Your Property Guide. That's here also, but chances are you'll have had a few copies of those given to you or sent to you with the contract of sale. If you do need one, sing out, raise your hand and we'll give you one now. Folks, we also I just want to confirm that by the act of bidding, when you put your hand in the air, you confirm to me that not only have you read the terms of sale and you've sought independent advice on not just the contract, perhaps the house as well, specialist advice as you see fit, you also confirm that you're entitled to buy property in New Zealand under the Overseas Investment Regulations. Now, the conduct of auction is simple and straightforward. The property today is being sold subject to a confidential written reserve price. Subject to the reserve price being reached, the highest bidder whose bid I've accepted will be the purchaser. You'll hear me calling for the amount by which I need bidding to be raised from time to time, and I am entitled to refuse a bid if I do deem that in the best interest of the vendor to do so. Now, our vendor, well, they reserve several rights. They can withdraw the property from sale before it's actually knocked down and sold without declaring the reserve price, and vendor bidding is permissible. Let me clarify the process of vendor bidding for you a little. Vendor bidding, if it were to take place, and I quite routinely place vendor bids, but they would always be below the reserve price and clearly identified as a vendor bid if I do exercise that right. No one else in the room indeed has the authority to place vendor bids whatsoever. Now, the agent that you're working with may certainly bid on your behalf. That's perfectly fine. We do have a telephone bidding registration with Jane behind me here, but of course that has also been signed off formally on the correct documentation. If there's a dispute concerning any matter, well, I'll sort out the dispute, quite frankly, or very, very easily return to the previous undisputed bid. Now, the end of the auction, that's the exciting point, of course. Fall of the hammer closes proceedings, quite aside from the jump out of the seats response. The highest bidder, of course, will be ecstatic. It's a wonderful property that you'll have just won. But before you start the celebrations, we'll get you to sign the contract. Pay the deposit, of course, of 10% of the purchase price, and because it's residential in nature, the property sale is inclusive of GST, if any, but if it's relevant to you, well, the GST information gets included as well. If you're not the highest bidder, you've come second, well, the emotion will be misery and regret. So because we don't want anybody to miss out, you will get warning before the hammer comes down. Once, twice, third time I will call it. Be quick at that point, because once the hammer has fallen, I cannot reopen the auction, but of course you will get, as I say, a little bit of time. Folks, that's as easy as it is to buy and sell real estate at auction. It is very simple, very straightforward and very transparent. Now, some further introductions before we move on with the legal particulars. I won't read the whole contract to you. As I say, I expect that you'll have sought independent advice. You've read it all, you bid on the basis of those terms. But they've, of course, been given to you by either David Bagley or Jane Nelson that have already introduced. You've together presented this property to the market, and we certainly thank the owners also for their instruction. The property we sell, as I've mentioned already, 41 Matariki Place in the Kerikeri Peninsula, is an estate in fee simple. 1,050 square metres more or less of land that we sell, legally described as Lot 79, Deposit Plan 53957. Certificate of Title 19C, Folio 1024 in the North Auckland Land Registry. Chattels, well, they're outlined in the documentation of sale, and no alteration has been made to the list since it's been issued to you. We sell subject to the general terms of the agreement plus the further terms 21 through 23. That's all contained in that documentation. And the settlement date that's been nominated by the vendor is the 31st of July of this year. I was lucky enough to view the property in person, and goodness me, how astounding. I just absolutely adore the incredible design of the home itself that really blends functionality, flexibility, relaxation across the levels, and the utility, the floor plan, very, very clever indeed, but one just simply cannot go past mentioning the incredible views on offer. You feel on top of the world when you are standing in this home at any given level. Of course, the screen and the photos say it's so much better than I, but I don't need to tell you, you know how you felt when you stood looking outside of that window. When you stood there, you perhaps meandered around those wraparound decks all the way around, or perhaps you ascended to that top floor where you really do feel perhaps very, very close to heaven indeed. The home itself, as I say, practical as well. Certainly has all of the functionalities and more of what you would expect. The home has been very, very happy residence for our vendor as a permanent abode. I would suggest to you it would suit just as well if you used it as a holiday retreat, and in this part of the world either use would be absolutely perfect. However, if you are buying for holiday reasons, my warning would be is once you get there you won't want to leave. So don't say I didn't warn you. It's a wonderful property, folks. Enough though from me. You've seen it. 41 Matariki Place in your hands. Your turn now. Opening bids, opening offers, telephone bidder over here on the left-hand side. The floor in front of me, over to you. Opening bids, opening offers, don't be shy, anywhere you like. You name your price. You tell me where you'd like to start and we'll take it off from there. How are we going? Where do we see it? Lots of people in attendance, the only auction here this afternoon. It's one of those things, you know, hold the head high, shoulders up, shoulders back rather. Name your price, we'll get it started. I know there's interest here. Let's get it going. Can I suggest, I don't know, an opening figure maybe at 600,000? 600, does that tempt you in at 600,000? Happy to start it at that level? What about 580? Does that make it more tempting for you? Not for sale at that level as you'd expect, but I'm happy to start it at 580 for you if you like. Where do I see an opening bid? On the phone, here on the floor. In your hands, all the options are yours. Folks, there's multiple interest in this property, and it should be in the auction room here. Compete in the transparency of this forum, or I haven't yet seen anyone prefer a multiple offer situation in the dark. And that's effectively what will happen. Opening bids, opening offers. Need to hear from you to get things started. Anywhere you like. If you don't like my number, if it's too low, you can start higher, start lower, doesn't matter where we start, it's where we finish that absolutely counts. A little bit of a discussion. 500, all right, with some optimism at 500,000, but it is a start, and I did ask for that. Thank you indeed for your participation and stepping on into the fray. At 500,000, opens the bidding there, 25 more I'll take. At 500,000 over here, do I see 25 more anywhere? How about over here at 500,000 there? First call at 500,000, how's the telephone bidder travelling? Second time at 500,000 bid, 25 more I look for. Third and final time at 500,000 opening bid. Well, comfortably I move on behalf of the vendor to $525,000. That's on a vendor bid, sir and madam, not for sale at that level. That's all I'm saying to you. I invite you at 550. At 550, can I see you there? At 525, the bid is with me on the owner's behalf. First call at 525, was that a bid, sir? Indeed it was. At 550. At 550, I got the raised eyebrow. I can take a nod. I can even take you yelling at me. I won't take it the wrong way. At 550,000, as long as you're bidding and we help you secure a wonderful property. At 550,000, how are we travelling now? At 550 is the bid. First call at 550. Second time, third time at 550. Well, look, what I'll do is I could exercise the right to bid on behalf of the vendor again. I won't. I'm just going to cut straight to the chase. I'm going to pause proceedings. It won't come as any surprise to you, sir and madam, and everybody else that the property is not for sale at this level. But we will pause. I'll come and have a chat, see if we can assist you across the line, and the auction will reopen as soon as we've been able to do that. We won't be long at all. $610,000. If you'd confirm the bid, please, at that level. On the nod, I have it at $610,000. I return back to the floor with instructions to work harder at $610,000. We do thank you for your interest. Not for sale at that level, looking for the advance north of there. Perhaps the telephone bidder has had a chance to reflect now as well. At $610,000, I was going in 25s earlier, but as registrations of interest, happy to take 10,000 more if it helps. At $610, do I see 20 in the room before I go? At $610 is the bid, 20 do I see? First time! $610,000, been crystal clear with every intention, very transparent here in the auction room. As I've mentioned, multi-offers after auctions, well, it's like switching the lights off. You'll have no idea what your competitors are doing. At $610,000, if you've been holding back, third and final time is the bid. Do I see that registration of interest in? All right, if it's not to be here on the cash terms, I do wish all the very best of luck to the both of you and, of course, those parties who were excluded from today's cash auction. And I set that property aside formally. Back in your hands, Jane, and not David over here, he's back over there, back in your hands, and I know it won't be long before we see us sold at this very, very fine property indeed, folks. I do thank you for your attendance, your attention. Have a fantastic afternoon ahead. Thank you.